Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Intensify in today's video. So I'm going to be showing you the GFS and other kind of runs. I'm going to be showing you like the relative humidity from the GFS. I'm going to be showing you the wind shear, how it's looking in the environment, for this system. I'm going to be showing you the ACM, which is well, in my opinion, the best model for track, but it isn't the best for intensity. It sounds underplays the intensity. But I quite like the the HWRF model. That's more high, a higher resolution model, but it's not out for this system yet. But it will in the coming days. So as I do more updates on this system, we should get more data from it, and then we could do some updates with from that model. So I'll show you the GFS. It's more of a close-up view. So if we go on into Sunday afternoon and then into Monday, you can see it's starting to circulate more. It's starting to rotate, and you can see there's more intense rain banding towards the southwest system. Then as we're going into Tuesday and then into Wednesday morning, you can see it's starting to intensify. It's starting to really wrap around itself, and it's starting to get more rain wrapping around. So this is meaning to me that there's more convection. It's more flaring up. So this is to me saying it's intensifying. And if I have to say at this stage, it's probably a high-end depression to a low-end tropical storm at this stage. But people underplay that. So if they say, oh, it's just a tropical storm, that could cause loads of rain and catastrophic flooding. The main reason for people's deaths in these systems is rain. Not it's not the wind. That's the most deadly part. It's the rain and flooding. So bear that in mind. And so even if it did strike as a tropical storm, don't think, oh, it's gonna be nothing, because there has been people dying off weak systems like this. So take it seriously if there's one coming your way. And then as we're going into Wednesday, it's really starting to intensify now. You can see the southwestern side of the system. It's really got really intense rain, and to me, yeah, it looks like it's starting to intensify, maybe into a category 1 cyclone, yeah, close to India. So it's definitely intensifying, and it does look like it has a favorable environment. And at this stage, it looks like there could be maybe some dry air and maybe some wind shear playing part in it. So it might go through a weakening transition. It might go through 2 peaks. So the first peak there was probably category 1. Then it'll probably weak to a tropical storm, a high-end one, because of dry air and wind shear. Then as we go on into the next few days after that, when it initially starts to weaken, it might strengthen again, which it has been shown to. So if I go on here, it's starting to intensify again. So as we go on into Friday, it's starting to really rapidly intensify. At this point, it's 961 millibars, and to me, that's a sign that it's starting to form an eye wall. It's starting to form a structure what cyclones and hurricanes and typhoons all have, an eye wall structure, rain banding. So to me, that's a sign it's starting to really intensify now, and that's probably a category 2 approach to a category 3. And then as we go on, it does look like it might get affected by some sort of dry air intrusion potentially, but it's still really intensifying here. It's showing a category 3, potentially a high-end category 3, and anything from category 3 or higher is devastating, catastrophic damage. So if there's a category 3 coming your way, you have to be cautious, because there's going to be wind threats. But that's not the main threat, but wind it'll be a higher threat. We have rain, which is the highest threat, and we're going to have storm surge because it's going counterclockwise. So we're going to see all the flooding coming around it like that, and then it's going to be affecting the coastline with swells. So we could see really high tides with this. Then as we go on, it looks like it's going to go through weakening, strengthening, weakening, strengthening. It looks like it might go through multiple intrusions of dry air and wind shear. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on the system. But I think because seeing maybe some sort of cyclone making a landfall on India, I can definitely see we could see a category 1 or a category 2 potentially higher. So I definitely think we've got a potential significant cyclone on our hands here for parts of India. And if I show you the winds here, so this is 850 millibar HBA wind. So this shows you how strong the wind is. So as we go on further on in time, you can see it at this point now on Wednesday, when I said it's going to become a category 1 potentially for its first peak. Yeah, you could definitely see support of a category 1 here, 64, 60 to 50 knots. Not 50 knots, 64, 70 plus knots. So that to me is a category 1. So then like a week gets briefly, as I mentioned, but then it's going to strengthen again, and you can definitely see it starting to intensify into Friday, and the knots is going between 80 to 96 or a little bit higher. So to me, that's like a category 2, maybe a category 3. Then it tries to intensify even further, potentially category 3, mid to high end category 3 maybe. Then it makes landfall, according to this, is a 951 millibar cyclone. That's a cat 2 to a cat 3, so that's devastating damage from wind, devastating damage from flooding, and surprisingly it's staying as a hurricane like from Monday, Tuesday, like I'm going into like Tuesday. So a full day of like when it hit land, it's going to stay as like a cyclone for a full day, like when it hits land. So don't think if you're inland from the coast you're not going to get affected by it, because you definitely will get affected by the rain. If you live near mountainous terrain, you're going to get loads of flooding, like flooding from orographic lifting, which basically means when like obviously there's mountains, like it's going to like take up all the moisture up, and then that's going to create more clouds, and then that's going to dump more rain where the mountains are, then that's going to go downstream then into villages on the lower grounds. So if you're around the northeastern part, like the western part of India, like around here, you're gonna have to definitely be cautious with this system. And look at the relative humidity. Basically, so it basically means if there's darker to brown on the scale means drier air. Like cyclones, hurricanes cannot form in dry air. It gets like suppressed, and convection can build, so like the thunderstorms can build upwards, it can't form. The more turquoise and green it gets, it's more moist, so we could get more convection and it can build up more. We could get more like lift. So basically, the more green there is, it's basically got more potential for more lift and more convection. So if you don't want like a cyclone, you don't want to see green in like around the cyclone really. So as we're going into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and first peak, say like I was right, like what I said before, there is a bit of dry air coming in here. Although it's on the weaker part of the scale, but it's definitely intruding the center of the storm, so it'll probably they'll probably go through an eye wall replacement cycle. Probably lose its eye and its eye wall, and probably like restructure itself, which could take 12 hours or more. And basically it's our eye wall choking out the inner eye wall, and then it tries to form basically our eye wall becomes the newer eye wall, but it could take time for it to replace itself. Then it goes through a secondary peak, so it cuts off that dry air quickly, and then it goes through another like strengthening phase. But there could be some like right here that's like very strong, like it's like off the scale, like for moisture, and it's like really, it's got an extremely favorable environment before landfall, and this is worrying me because you don't want to see all these dark greens just before landfall. So it's got loads of available moisture, and as it makes landfall, and it's a very intense system, unfortunately. But it does look like though, which is a good sign, once it goes away, dry air will come in, and there won't be much rain around. Because when this like cyclone hits land, it'll create loads of flooding and rain. The last thing they would want is rain and flooding, but it looks like as soon as that exits out into the more like central part of India, it looks like it's going to get dry. So that's a bit of a like relief if that comes off, but we don't want any like cyclone hitting it anyway. But that's the best case scenario, is like when it goes away, then the dry air comes in, it doesn't rain, so then the flooding can like subside. Look at wind shear. So basically, the darker the red is, the more vertical shear there is. So when there's a storm trying to build up, and if the shear above 20, basically it blows the cloud tops, and it becomes like lopsided, so it can't form, it can't strengthen, it can't become symmetrical as so it can't like form like a perfect like CDO. It can't, it just can't form. But the more like blue it is and white, that's basically lower wind shear. So if there's wind shear between 0 and 10, just say 12, then that's really favorable for cyclone and hurricane and typhoon development. It's got basically no wind, and these like storms can just build up really high and it can form. Well, if we can go on here into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, yes, you might say, oh, there's red around the storm, but cyclones, as I've said in previous videos with this, cyclones create their own wind shear, so you have to kind of read the map and kind of like see for trends. So here I could definitely see the wind shear is between 10 to 50 knots, which is favorable. It's not the most favorable, but it's definitely in the favorable realm, so it could definitely form. Then as we go on into its second peak here, the wind shear becomes really favorable in my opinion here, between 12 knots and around that area. So it's got well enough fuel, so it's got pretty low wind shear throughout the majority of its life. It might get higher at some point, so, and you might see it lose its eyes at some point. You might see it starting to restructure itself, fighting against the shear in some of the dry air, but overall it looks pretty favorable. If you look at the ECM here, so quickly going into Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, so as I said, it's gonna go through a peak, but with this run, interestingly, it takes it away from India and we can sit all together, which is a possibility. So if if there's a model showing it missing land, take that into consideration, but I'll look for trends. If the majority of the model outputs are going for a landfall, it's most likely going for a landfall, but it could change. So we need to be cautious with this. So we'll look at the sea surface temperature anomalies for the 7-day change. So basically it's like a 7-day change. So basically it's for average, but it's in the past 7 days. So where the storm can make its landfall is well above average. It's between 1 to 2 degrees above average. So we've got plenty of warmth in the ocean for it to intensify. We've got plenty of moisture. We've got low wind shear, so it's definitely favorable. And if you look at the sea surface temperatures, it's really favorable, 31 to 30 degrees until landfall. So there's nothing really stopping it really from strengthening. We could see odd dry air intrusions, maybe some shear where it might ramp up at times, but apart from that, the majority of its lifespan, it's pretty favorable. So I'm not saying it's going to hit land. I'm not saying it's gonna be a Cat 3 landfall, but some of the models are showing it. And if I go here into the model trends here, so if we look at the GEFS, interestingly, I know I seen this until now, the majority of them are taking it away, but it's going to go into into the likes of the Middle East, towards the Middle Eastern areas, towards the southeastern part of the Middle East. But there is some that are going towards where the operational run showing it. So interestingly, it's not saying it's a guarantee, but then if we look at the CMC, the majority of them are taking it into land. So I think at the minute it's most likely not going to hit land, but there's still quite a lot of ensemble members showing it. And by the way, if the temperatures in the oceans above 26 degrees, it can form and it can become a cyclone. And if you look, it's 30 to 31 degrees. That's perfectly enough for it to intensify. So yeah guys, so that's it for today's video. I hope you found it very informative. Please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss an upload. And I'm going to try to upload more regular, hopefully maybe one every 2 days, or if I can a daily one. But I'm not going to put loads of pressure and say I'm going to upload daily consistently, because there might be a day when I won't. But I definitely will try to upload at least 4 to 5 times a week, or if not, maybe a daily if I can sometimes. But yeah, if you're anywhere towards the Middle East, the southeastern parts of the Middle East, and if you're in the southwestern parts of India, Bangladesh, around them areas, you need to be not Bangladesh. Sorry, I don't know about that, but if you're anywhere between here and around here, the Middle Eastern part, you have to keep an eye on this, because it could easily hit land here. Then it or so it could do 2 options. It could come from around here, where the confidence is going to form. It could go into here, it could go into here, or it can go into here. So it's got 3 options. I think it will hit land, but how strong? The ACM is saying it's going to weaken drastically and it won't really affect anyone. But the GFS is showing potentially Cat 3 landfall potentially. So it's all on the card. So yeah, please subscribe, and I will upload hopefully tomorrow or the next day regarding Invest 93A, and we should have more of a clearer idea in the next couple of days. So thanks for watching.